Before I start this video, I'd like to say thank you and give a shout out to my friend Fujiwara of Moku, who wrote a bunch of the script for this video. The link to his channel is in the description. He does long form game review, and he has a new video in the works right now. Anyways, let's get started. A common question I hear when introducing people to competitive Pokemon is, what does Pursuit even do? Pursuit is a base 40 power Dark type move in Pokemon, which is considered quite weak. Its power doubles to 80 and hits an opponent that's switching out. But why not just use knockoff or crunch? The simple answer is that pursuit allows you to punish switching and force damage onto your opponent. If you think about it, switching is one of the most powerful moves in singles. It allows you to bring in a counter or check to your opponent's Pokemon before they can even move. This is why moves that can punish switching, like Stealth Rock, are so good. That's what brings us to Pursuit now. Let's say I'm playing a game and my opponent has a Chandelure. I have a Tyranitar which has high special defense and sand and can hurt it with a powerful crunch. However, the Chandelure can always safely switch out to its partner Terrakion, and my Tyranitar would have to switch out in fear of a close combat. Pursuit flips this entire dynamic around. Now, the Chandelure can either switch out and take a lot of damage from Pursuit, or it can stay in and still take damage off of Tyranitar's high attack stat. Pursuit is basically good because it can trap Pokemon weak to it, and put them in a lose-lose situation where they are forced to take damage. Ghost types became a lot stronger after Generation 8 removed Pursuit, and things like Dragapult would not be as good if Pursuit was still running around. Pokemon such as Chandelure, Dragapult, and Lunala all became stronger in their respective tiers due to the fact that they were not only able to operate completely untouched by Dark types, but were also free to utilize choice items. For example, Gengar was banned from Generation 8 UU as a result of its Specs and Scarf sets, which could either outrun or overpower the entire metagame, chip down its checks and counters with powerful Shadow Balls, and then switch out with zero consequence. Now, if a defensively adept Pokemon like Drapion or Tyranitar had Pursuit, and was able to take these Spec Shadow Balls and retaliate by Pursuit trapping, the viability, sets, and game to game tactics of Ghost types would change entirely. Something important to keep in mind while using a Pursuit Trapper is that its primary purpose is for it to effectively defeat something that it's intended to trap one on one. This can mean a few things. The first thing of note is its defensive capabilities. For example, let's look at Generation 3 Ubers. Please note that in this generation, Pursuit was special because it was a Dark type move. Anyways, Deoxys Attack is a very powerful Dark weak threat that a lot of teams would rather eliminate with the Pursuit user. However, the two strongest Pursuit users in the game, Tyranitar and Houndoom, are easily demolished by Deoxys' superpower. Therefore, to trap it, a more defensively capable Pursuit user in Metagross is used. Metagross runs heavy bulk investment, with the goal of surviving two choice banded superpowers or two fire punches, which means that Deoxys cannot win the 1v1, forcing it to switch out and be defeated by Pursuit. Despite Metagross's lack of same type attack boost, stab, and thoroughly mediocre special attack stat on Pursuit, Deoxys attack is weak enough to be knocked out in one hit by a switch boosted Pursuit. Although, since it barely survives a non-switch boosted Pursuit, it sometimes likes to attack again to get as much chip damage on Metagross as possible before it goes down. Because of this, it becomes a bit of a mind game as to whether or not Deoxys will switch, and the Metagross user has to choose between either using Meteor Mash to save some health in the event that Deoxys stays in, or to use Pursuit and still defeat Deoxys no matter what, but potentially at the cost of some health. Likewise, the user of Deoxys has to make the same decision and prediction about what Metagross will do. Another example of a Pursuit user that is good because of its defensive utility is Alolan Muck in Generation 7 UU. It is a dark poison type with high special defense that is further bolstered by the Assault Vest, an item you can learn about here. Anyway, most of the Pursuit weak targets in the tier like Gengar, Latios, or Chandelure are special attackers, meaning that Muck can tank their hits quite well as it hits them with a powerful stab Pursuit. Its typing also comes into play here because of how well it matches up against common special attacking types in the tier. It's immune to Psychic, resistant to Ghost and Dark, and also neutral to Fairy and Fighting. Pursuit is mainly thought of as a way to trap Dark weak opponents, but that's not all it can do if the situation calls for it. You could even Pursuit a neutral or resisted target. In a game like Pokemon where every bit of damage matters, Pursuit can help in this regard. For example, My opponent has a regenerator Amoongus that he can use to infinitely restore health with, and even though I can do quite a lot of damage to it, it can always swap out and come back with more health. However, let's say the Amoongus has taken a lot of damage at this point and it's about to switch out to get more regenerator recovery. Even though it's not weak to Pursuit, it can still take a lot of damage before it can switch out. Pursuit could KO the Amoongus before it switches, but even if it doesn't, the Amoongus has even less health for when it comes back in later, especially if hazards are up. Pursuit can be a difficult concept for new players to understand at first, and I hope this video helps you understand a little bit better. If you learned something new from this video, maybe click like, subscribe, and share the video with your friends. If you have more questions, just ask me in the comments or in the Discord. Thank you for watching.